My name is Billy Lyons. I'm with the Mayo Genealogy Group, and it was set up a few years ago to assist people in helping them with their family histories and how to look up archives to deal with that.
So we're in the Museum of Country Life in Castlebar today.
That's right.
And we're talking about workhouses.
The workhouses.
And the division.
And, the workhouses were set up under an Act of Parliament around 1820, and it was set up in England and reached every corner of England by 1830, but it didn't reach here until about 1837. But there were workhouses here pre-1800, and they were on a small scale. But they wanted to bring it into a larger catchment area. And around 1837, they decided to set up the workhouse unions all over the country. And to do that, the first thing they had to do was set up an income for the workhouses, to provide them with the revenue to run it. And out of that came Griffith's valuation. And the Griffith's valuation was based on the 1830 Ordnance Survey maps, where they divided up the whole country into workhouse union boundaries based on these maps. And if you look at these maps, even today, you can look them up online in Castlebar, and you can see the 1837 maps, and they have the workhouse unions mapped out on them. And some of these workhouse unions crossed parish boundaries, and they crossed county boundaries, where you had in County Roscommon, you had the Castlebar boundary came in to Ballyhorns. The Ballina workhouse crossed over into County Sligo, and you had the workhouse unions themselves were Clamorris, Ballinrobe, Swinford, Westport, Ballina and Balmullis.
But there one in Newport.
Newport, rather, yeah. I'm working on memories.
I know, I can see that, that's fine. Yeah.
Now, these boundaries or these workhouse divisions were based on the electrical division that we use today. When you go and vote in your local election, you're voting within these workhouse union boundaries. And when it was set up, it was envisaged that the rateable valuation derived from the Griffith's valuation, and you can see the names here, that they were the names of the actual tenants that paid the rents.
Oh, okay.
And you can see here that the revenue, the valuation of the acreage and house, and then you can see the actual valuation for the amount of rates that had to be paid. And from these...
And how did it decide on who paid? Who paid the rates?
The tenants. But under the legislation, at the time, it was envisaged that the landlords would pay the rents, because they were getting the income from the tenants. But the landlords were the governing body of the day in Ireland, and they decided that they weren't going to pay it out of their own income to get them from the tenants. And they decided that because they were the governing body, they were the grand jury, they were the forerunners of the present county council. So they decided that the tenants should pay on top of the rents, and it would be about a penny in the pound. And if you look at the present rate of valuation from Mayo, I'm sure it's around 30 or 40 pounds in the pound, 30 or 40 pounds in the pound now at the moment. You know, that's why it was called a poor law valuation. You know.
And what was the cess?
It was set. The rate was set.
No, cess. C-E-S-S. Was that the charge? Was it?
That was the charge.
The cess. That was the tax. It was called a
the
cess.
tax,
Yeah. Okay, right.
And that was decided every year. When you look at the present day income from the county council, even though it has passed on to central government, they decided on the rates every year, because what happened after the formation of the workhouse was that you had the health tax and the general registers, and all this came out of the workhouse unions. The health as we know today, the hospitals and all that, they all came out of the workhouse unit because they're all based on present day boundaries. And when you see the Mayo County Council going back to the 70s, like, they struck a rate every year. What the rate of evaluation was paid to keep the council going, you know. The same thing happened with the grand juries, you know.
And who was on the grand jury? Was it landlords?
Grand juries were landlords.
Only landlords?
Yeah, because anyone under a £20 valuation and they had to own the lands couldn't be on the grand jury.
And how many would be on a grand jury? How many people roughly?
All the landlords of Mayo, you know. And they sat on, they were also the magistrates. You
So they're great power,
So
they
if you
have.
fell out with the landlord and he brought you to court, like,
You were in trouble.
you were probably sitting in front of him already again, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm dealing with, that's the way it was, like. And then, you see, the problem was that they had their own way right up to Daniel O'Connor's time. And when Daniel O'Connor came along and he started quoting the law to them, and they had to back down because they were supposed to be the upholders of the law. And this is another one of council valuation. This was another form, like would say, it is the same. That is this. The register was used for assessing the rates for the particular. But we'll say, supposing someone died or passed on.
Yeah. He was on a cancelled list.
Your name was cancelled here,
Yeah.
and the new name was entered in it.
Oh, okay.
You know, but they didn't become freeholders until about 1907. You know,
Yeah. So that's how the whole thing was set up.
that's how the whole thing was set up.
The rates, the workhouses,
That's right.
and the landlords.
And even to the present day, when you're dealing with, we'll say, medical cards and everything like that, it's all based on the present districts that were set up at that particular time.
That's interesting.
And people think that when you know when you go in and you're dealing with modern society, but you're actually going back to the 19th century.
19th
Of the way
century.
it was set up, like, you know.
They were good at it, weren't they? They set it up well.
Well, you see,
Mightn't be fair, but they were good at it. They set up a structure.
They did it to themselves.
They set up a structure, yeah, they did.
But
yeah.
the roles were reversed then in 1899 when the grand jury were abolished and the county council bodies were set up. And in the first county council elections, you can see the landlords were beginning to be phased out. They were beginning to be pushed one side.